You're watching NFL Daily, presented today by Manscaped. You can get the all-new Ultra Premium Collection for 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com/chat and use promo code chat at checkout. It's a trade mailbag on today's show. I asked for your questions on the YouTube community side here at Chat Sports and on my Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. And I want to hear from you guys right now off the top, too. Shout out your favorite team and name a player you want them to trade for in the comments section. Go do it right now. Our first trade question idea here, Cammy Spades. I would like to see the Cowboys go a second and a fifth for a solid center like Alex Mack. I mean, yeah, I don't think – so a couple things here. You want a center for the Cowboys, right? Alex Mack, although older, is still a good one. I think there are problems, though, with this idea. I think that's a lot to give up for an older center. I think that's probably too much from the Cowboys' perspective. And although Tyler Biadasz has not been great for the Cowboys, a bit as expected, I think, from a second round or fourth round pick perspective, the Niners are trying to win football games right now. And I don't think moving Alex Mack helps them. So I appreciate you giving a good value to go get him. I like that idea there, Cammy. But I think we're not quite the right value from the Cowboys perspective, and from the Niners. They might do it, but doesn't help them win games, and that's their goal right now. From Omylanta, to the Steelers trade for a receiver like Deebo Samuel to give Trubisky more playmakers and weapons. I think like everyone should go trade for Deebo Samuel, right? This is one of the premier playmakers in the NFL. 77 receptions, almost 1,500 yards through the air, and was super valuable on the ground. 365 yards, 8 touchdowns just his regular season. So the playoffs, you know how that went so well. I think what is going on right now is that Deebo Samuel wants to get paid as the premier receiver. He saw what Tyreek Hill got, saw what Devontae Adams got. He wants that. The receiver market's popping off, right? He's now in the final year of his rookie contract. You want to get paid as soon as possible. And he can argue, I do this and this. The offense is built around my skill set. The Niners should pay him right now. And I think the reason why the Niners say no is you just kind of have a premier player. Now, maybe there are some concerns there, right? On one hand, he's an impact player, homegrown. He's a leader of that team. But he hasn't played a full season yet. That's a red flag when you're young. His style is not conducive to a long-term fit, a long-term situation here. Now, $30 million per year is a lot for a receiver, and maybe the Niners could find a stud in the draft. I think from a trade value standpoint, probably got to move 2 first, and that's the problem I have with it from Pittsburgh's side. Do we believe Mitchell Trubisky is the answer? I know there are some truthers out there, but if trading your first this year and your first next year for an admittedly high-impact receiver, and then you got to pay Deontay Johnson a lot of money too, how are you getting your quarterback? It's great to have all these playmakers, but do you have the QB to win a title? I kind of don't think so. So with that in mind, the pros and cons kind of from each side here, who wins this hypothetical trade? PIT for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or type in SF for the 49ers? Let me know in the comments section. By the way, while you guys are down there, make sure you are subscribed. We're talking trades right now, and there's some draft stuff kind of mixed in, of course, as a result of it. But we'll be live for the entirety of the 2022 NFL Draft. YouTube.com/chatsportstv. Every single pick, every single day, we'll be live, and we'll break it all down. So if you want the best NFL Draft coverage on the entire internet, you've come to the right spot. Hit that big red button and subscribe right now. From JR Swish, great name, my friend. Super unlikely scenario. Vikings trade number 12 and a third rounder to the Panthers for number 6 to take Malik Willis. Probably no chance that happens, though. Look, you're acknowledging an unlikely scenario, so it'll be nice. If you do want Malik Willis in your Minnesota, you probably would have to move up to that number 6 or maybe number 7 slot to acquire that. Now, from a trade value perspective, what you're giving up versus what you're getting, as I hopefully this trade value chart will load for me here, you're moving 12 and your third in it's a little bit on the light end. I think you're going to have to go just a little bit more to make that really work out. It would get you a little bit closer to a bit more in line with maybe pick 8 versus pick number 6. Maybe it's a down class. Maybe Carolina trades down. The big issue with the Carolina side, they need a QB too. They might not want to trade down from number 6, but if you get to 8 ahead of Seattle and you want that QB and you're worried about the Seahawks taking him, okay, maybe it could make some sense. I don't think that's the route Minnesota pursues, though, because they paid Kirk Cousins. Again, they kind of seem to think he is the guy. Told you guys about the Ultra Premium Collection from Manscaped. Get it and everything else on their site with their best men's grooming products for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/chat and use promo code chat at checkout if needed to make sure you get that 20% off and free shipping. From the Ultra Premium Collection to the Performance Package, there is a wide array of products, including the most comfortable boxers known to mankind. Seriously, I love them. Manscaped.com/chat and use promo code chat. The link and the promo code will be in the comment section and the description of today's video. From Connor Clark, DK Metcalf and a 4th in exchange for a 2nd and Jaire Alexander. So this is fascinating trade idea to me here because you've got a soon-to-be highly paid receiver and a soon-to-be highly paid corner. And Green Bay needs a receiver really bad, and they spent a premium pick on Eric Stokes last year. Seattle needs a corner really bad. They've got Tyler Lockett. So it's an outside-the-box trade idea. I feel like the Packers are getting the short end of the stick there with giving up a 2nd versus getting a 4th back. That seems important to me to note, although DK is a premier player. And we know receivers get paid more than the top-end corners, which is noteworthy. So I think the Packers would say no, but it's a creative NBA-style trade, which I love to see out there. If you're not going to pay the guy, whichever team you're a fan of, Packers or Seattle, maybe shop him for a premium player. So I get that. So what do you think? Would you trade DK Metcalf for Jaire Alexander? Y for yes or N for no? From Tunka Todd, I want to say like Tunka, like super deep, like it's something funny. I don't know, but I appreciate it. Baker Mayfield, the Titans, who need a starting QB for a 2nd and 4 in next year's draft. So I don't hate the idea of Tennessee upgrading at QB from Ryan Tannehill. My problem is I think you have to do the Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford trade, which your options are, well, they're gone with Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson already traded away at this point. I don't think Baker's an upgrade right now over Ryan Tannehill, especially not enough to give up a 2nd and a 4 and have 2 big, heavy quarterback contracts on your roster unless you could ship out Ryan Tannehill for maybe one of those picks you sent out. So if he gets cut, I think it could make more sense for Tennessee on a lesser contract, trying to let them compete. But I don't think Baker is a premium upgrade right now. Frankly, as Baker himself has said, it's tough to find a destination for him, right? Seattle makes sense because, well, they got Drew Lock, and he's bad. And you got to make the money work. I think the value of Baker's down pretty low right now. The Detroit Lions, if they don't believe in Jared Goff, but they're not going to trade for him, I don't think. Carolina and Baker apparently don't view each other as a fit, thanks to the Sam Darnold disaster. The Falcons could be a dark horse, but they also signed Marcus Mariota. Houston, I think, wants to roll with Davis Mills, and I don't think he'd start. And Baker wants to start. That's kind of the crux of the issue, the contract versus the starting options. It's not the typical available outcome you normally see in the offseason for guys. I think our starting caliber QB is just low end, and teams don't like paying big money for a low-end starter and uncertainty long term. From Jackson Waxon, should the Giants trade a 3rd for Bradley Chubb? So it's an interesting idea. I know there's been some ideas out there on moving Bradley Chubb because the Broncos paid Randy Gregory, of course, and I think the Giants would offer that, and I'd do it in a heartbeat if I were them, like 3rd-round pick for an impact edge rusher. Let's do it. Here's your problem. Are the Broncos selling? You trade for Russell Wilson to win now, not to, we're going to trade away our edge for a 3rd because, he's not going to be here in 2 years maybe. You need those picks and those players, I should say. So I don't see the Broncos selling Bradley Chubb unless, come draft time, maybe they fall in love with an edge. They go get one to replace Chubb. but you're opening up a need at edge rusher for one of your better players in an effort to then get a third-round pick, I think Denver says no to that idea. The RC Mechanic. Falcons receive DK Metcalf, and then I know you mean Seahawks get the number 9 overall pick. Well, I assume you mean the number 8 overall pick, and you mixed up the numbers there. I appreciate you making a good offer here, RC Mechanic. In exchange for the Falcons get DK Metcalf, Seattle gets the first-round pick. I would assume that's what you're doing here, so that's how I'm going to approach it. That is a fair offer for DK. It is very similar value-wise to what Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams got, respectively, in their trades with the Packers and the Raiders and the Chiefs and the Dolphins. So good job on that front. I don't think Seattle trades away DK. If they do, number 8 overall pick, pretty solid. You could get an impact edge and a tackle, impact receiver and an edge, or an impact offensive tackle and receiver, some combination of that, and maybe a QB. So I appreciate a good offer on that front. Unfortunately, my boy Garrett Tate has an idea, and I asked for a lot of questions on Twitter. Unsurprisingly, I got a lot of trade ideas involving the Dallas Cowboys. Some of them just, they weren't serious. There was a lot of Ezekiel Elliott for a bag of chips, Jerry Jones for a vacuum cleaner, which I found funny here. This one was first and second to the Giants for number 7. There was also one about trading up for Ike Mekwonu, so I'll kind of group that together. Here's the problem. This package gets you to 13. It doesn't get you to 7. If you're trying to get to 7, you got to move probably your first next year as well. So this could get you an Evan Neal or an Ike Mekwonu, but it would have to be 2 firsts and a second to get that high, and I don't think the Cowboys have any real interest in doing that.